My favorite Meletrix product, the Zoom 75, is finally back with a V2 and it's called the Tiga. And it's packed with a lot of upgrades under the hood along with some cosmetic tweaks. But if you already have the V1, is it worth upgrading? I'm not sure. Let's dive in. Hit the B-roll. The Zoom 75 Tiga from Meletrix is a custom 75% keyboard set to go into group buy starting November 4th through the 18th with a starting price of $195 that goes up to $220 depending on the configuration you choose. And as always with Meletrix, we're talking loads of customization options and tons of color combinations to choose from. So make sure you check out the link down below to see them all. But here's the real question. What's new? So on the outside, they've made some notable refinements. It still shares that V1 shape, but with the front height now reduced to 17.5 millimeters, paired with a 6.5 degree typing angle, it's much comfier for long typing sessions. Now looking at the back of the case, you have some sleek new swooping elements. You can even swap these out with 3D printed parts, including this Lego display mode, an artisan tray, and the ability to customize these dual wings. Meletrix has also provided the source files, which is great to see. And check this out. The bottom of the board features this soul grill. Yeah. Honestly, I think it looks fantastic. It also has this magnetic badge on the back, which looks really nice, and it's a cool idea, but those magnets, not the strongest. Let's just say I've spent some time on the carpet trying to rescue mine a few times. Now here's one of the cooler upgrades, the screen. It's the same size and shape as the previous Zoom 75, but the Tiga bumps up the resolution and it now hits 60 frames per second, making the text look razor sharp and giving GIFs that buttery smoothness. Honestly, I'm a big fan of this improvement. Oh, and there's a new scroll wheel above the arrow keys. You can map it to control the volume or anything else you want. But, and this is a big but, I'm not a fan of its placement. It feels cramped with the up arrow and the navigation cluster above, and adjusting it is not the easiest. I found scrolling from the right edge helps, but it's still not ideal. Now building this board, it's way easier now. This now comes with the ball catch system to quickly open and close the case, magnetic daughter boards and pogo pins for the screen and the scroll wheel connections, and watch how smooth and easy this is. Yeah, it's pretty slick. That said, I'd love to see them ditch these ugly ribbon cables in future versions. I've seen cleaner implementations of this type of system on other boards. Another tweak that they've added is they've added these silicone bumpers to help reduce the case ping. Basically, it's a built-in force brake, which I really am glad they did. So overall, there's some cool updates to the case. The anodized quality also feels like a step up from previous models, and it seems like they really refined this board. For those of you who don't want to be tethered with a cable, you got the full wireless capabilities here and a significant battery upgrade. The V1 had a 4500 milliamp battery, and now we have an 8000 milliamp battery, and that's a big deal in itself. This board will last you a long time before you have to charge it. So the kit comes with pretty much everything you need. You get your choice of a plate, and they have a few plate options. There's a 1.6 millimeter non-flex cut hot swap PCB. You get this clear film for the bottom case, these little rubber pads that the pogo pin boards sit in. You can get badges, and then the mounting kits for the 4 different styles of mounting. You have top mount, elastic bar, silicone gel mount, and split O-ring mount. And yes, all 4 are included. They also included their stabs, which honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of. It felt a little mushy to me, so I swapped them out. And of course, it wouldn't be a Meletrix board if you didn't get the foams. But this time around, you can choose between standard foam, pour-on foam, and wait for it, cork foams. Yeah. Now, they market this as a solution for people who prefer a foamless sound signature, but honestly, to my ears, it dampens the sound quite a bit. I wasn't a big fan. True foamless keyboards give you that full, clacky, and airy sound signature, whereas this one sounded fairly dampened. It still does keep it clean, it doesn't sound foamy, it just sounds like it has less volume. And that makes sense since cork is a denser material. Yeah, so it's nice to have all these options to tailor the sound to your preference. Personally, I think the board sounds really good without any foam, and out of the 4 mounting options, I prefer the elastic bar and the split O-ring mount. So final thoughts, overall Meletrix did a solid job with this board. With all the upgrades like the screen, ease of build, and mounting styles, this is definitely a great option for a newcomer to the hobby or someone who's looking to add a 75% keyboard to their inventory. But let's go back to the question I asked at the beginning of this video. If you already have the V1, should you upgrade to the Tiga? Now, I'd only recommend upgrading if you really want that better screen and you're one of those people who constantly open and close your keyboard for a rebuild. Otherwise, you might want to hold off.